It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 219 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
We are brewing native pecan.
Because it's so yummy. Now, if you're not drinking this coffee, you are missing out. We have a code. It's CWTCL 15 for 15% off bagged coffee. And where should everybody go?
brightenearlycoffee.com.
And if you need K-Cups, get them over on Amazon and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious pecan coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today.
Chick season is here, and right now you can try NatureWise Chick Starter Grower Feed and save $10. It's all the nutrition your chicks need in one feed. Click on the link in this episode's show notes to get $10 off today.
The wind is a-howling.
It is, yeah. But the sun is also shining.
And it's supposed to be 50-something degrees, so...
Yeah, so it's okay. I can take some wind if it means I get some more spring-like temperatures.
The feathers are blowing out there. They're like, woo! I can feel it under my petticoat.
Yeah, we had some nest box drama happening, so Pete went out to check what everyone was squabbling about. And both of the big flocks, the girls were on the perches inside the coop because they don't like the wind.
I don't blame them, but they are lower to the ground, so they feel the wind a little bit less, I feel like. But
probably.
They still feel it.
The geese don't care. The geese just want to eat grass.
We have our neighbor's Christmas tree in one run, and then our huge Christmas tree is back there, but not in the run yet because I can't get it through the door by myself.
That's a big one.
So that's a good idea. Anybody who still has a live tree laying around in your yard or something, put it in the run as a wind block, as a jungle gym. Even if they eat a few of those pine needles, it's okay. It's not going to really hurt them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I just put it in front to be a wind block, not in. So the other ones are kind of like, why don't we have our tree in yet? But man, it has been a tough few weeks. Thank God January is over.
I know. And now I'm all into spring and I'm thinking about the garden. We have decided what ducks we're getting.
Drum roll, please.
The runner ducks.
Because you can't tell if they run underwater or not. And they do look slendier.
They are very slender looking.
We love ourselves some Mark Metzer.
We do. Well, I really do want the bantams, but sometimes when you're farming with your partner, you have to make some decisions for both of you. So as much as I want bantams, Pete very legitimately fears them getting loose, like if I'm not around, because I don't think I could bring myself to clip wings.
Well, also, I've come up with another scenario why Pete wants the runners.
What's that?
You're like, oh God, what's
I'm waiting. What's this?
He wanted a tall duck like himself. Tall ducks. Instead of a call duck, he wanted the tall
duck. Yes, I got it. Okay. Well, I'm not upset at all for various reasons. The first is that I've always loved the runners. I think they're the neatest things. I love their colors and their personalities. And they can patrol the apple trees. You know, they can do what they do best. Forage in my garden.
Those damned apple trees.
Guess what?
You got more. I already know. You told me this.
I got 4 more on the way.
And on that note, If you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. While you're there, hit that subscribe button because you never want to miss all this great fun on a windy day. And they count them.
Everything's coming up apples. If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell a few chicken, goose, and or duck loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to our patrons. We love you. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
So, winter is coming.
It's better when Sean Bean says it.
Can you stay on topic for just a minute?
What topic?
Winter. Well, chickens, obviously. And igloo coops from Omelette.
Oh, yeah. You got to have an igloo for winter.
If you don't know igloos, they're engineered for extremes. Double insulated, waterproof, and stormproof.
They keep out any weather and all predators.
And you can just wipe them clean.
My girls and little man are so comfy in their Igloo Pro.
Mine too. Warm and dry all year round.
Winter is coming.
Be ready with an igloo.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then, yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tee, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. I like fishtail French and double all the different Bredas. It's time for this week's Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah, what? Fishtail what? Oh, braids! I was a little slow in the draw with that one. French and fishtail, I get it. Braids.
And double
braid, yes. Well, this week's Breed Spotlight is the Breda. The Breda, yeah. Okay. Now, this is a really interesting chicken that you don't hear a lot about. You can get them here in the US, and we'll tell you where at the end, but they're really, really unique looking, and they're a very old breed. The Breda is a large, I think very handsome, feather-legged chicken with a small crest and a practically non-existent comb, pretty much non-existent comb.
Exactly.
They're commonly thought to have originated in the southern part of the Netherlands, specifically the town of Breda in the Guelders region. And they're known by a couple of different names. Breda, Guelder, Guelderland, and Krekop.
Is Guelderland an amusement park?
No, but it could be. Dutch Guelderland!
Instead of Dutch Wonderland.
Exactly. Dutch
Oh
Guelderland.
my God. This is for everybody who's local that listens to us. Lancaster is the little kids' playland of the world, Dutch Wonderland.
Dutch Wonderland, yeah. Dutch Guelderland. So Krekop literally translates to crow's head, and they're not to be confused with another Dutch breed, which is the Crane Kappa, which looks different. The Breda, or Krekop, if you look at the black Bredas from the side, they absolutely do look like a crow in profile.
They do.
It's really
I'm
cool.
looking at them right now. They do.
Okay. Now, the Dutch Poultry Association has noted that the Breda is several hundred years old. There's not a lot of written evidence either way, but in 1660, there was a Dutch artist named Jan Steen. He painted a piece called The Poultry Yard. It very clearly shows a bird that looks almost identical to the Breda.
Now, the only thing the side profile would give them away are the white earlobes now.
Yes, absolutely. We know that other chicken breeds of this general type have been around in Europe for hundreds of years. And that's the small comb, tassel on the head, white earlobe, feather leg, and I think most importantly, the big nostrils, like the Polish family.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's unreasonable to conclude that the Breda is very old as well.
They're very old.
Yes, that's me every morning. While they're hard to find now, Bredas were once fairly common in the US. They were popular layers and they were popular dual-purpose birds. They started to fall out of favor after the Civil War. So about the same time that the Asiatics, Cochin Brahma Langshan, were becoming extremely popular with hen fever.
I mean, like all chickens, there are chickens that come into popularity and then they might have a span where everybody wants them. And then there's a new or different breed that comes in that everybody's like, I have to have this one. And they kind of forget about. That's kind of like cycles. And one that is a particular example is like the salmon faverolles.
Yeah.
They went through a major upswing in the last few years, where before they were kind of a forgotten breed.
They were very out of fashion, I suppose. You know what else goes through fashion cycles like that?
What's that?
Apple trees.
Oh my God.
They do.
Apple this and apple that.
It's all apple all the time.
Don't eat the poison apple.
I'm going to leave one for you.
Oh, I know. I'm sure you will.
Now, there were actually several Breda or Guilderlands exhibited at the first U.S. poultry show in Boston in 1850.
Okay.
John C. Bennett, who was an author, and he was one of the original breeders of the barred rock.
Okay.
He wrote this about them. The Guilderland fowls were typically medium-sized blue-black fowls with very heavily feathered black legs, their chief peculiarity being the absence of comb in either sex. This is replaced by an indentation on the top of the head, and from the extreme end of this, at the back, rises a small spike of feathers. They were said to have been brought from the north of Holland a few years before by Captain John Devereux of Marblehead in the ship Dromo. From this, we may infer that birds that had been shown by one exhibitor as Devereux's, he's talking about the first poultry show.
Right.
Birds that were shown by one exhibitor as Devereux were what were commonly called Guilderlands. But I went back for a listing of exhibitors and the birds, and I found several instances of, they were almost all called Guilderlands, but I found several instances of them. I also found the Breda mentioned again as Guilderland as recently as 1924 in the Reliable Poultry Journal, volume 31.
Now, don't go to volume 32 or 33. Go to volume 31.
You making fun of my exact citations?
No, not me.
It was mentioned in a section with the breeders, essentially listing all the breeds that each breeder offered. So apparently the Breda was hanging on for a while as a show bird, and it really pretty much disappeared by World War II.
I mean, people had to eat, and that could have happened to a lot of those birds. They're dual purpose, so they didn't rebreed what they ate in enough capacity. So that bird fell out. I mean, it's really clear to see. We've said it a million times, but that's what happens. And then when they don't have the availability and people don't know about them,
right,
they fall off.
Now, they may have disappeared entirely in the U.S. at that point. We don't know for sure, but what we do know is they probably weren't commercially available. But in 2010, Greenfire Farm imported a line of Breda. The Breda was never included in the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection that I could find, but both the British Poultry Club and the Netherlands do have breed standards for this bird.
It looks like a really interesting bird. And after having Cochin and seeing like the whole leg all the way down feathered, it really is kind of cool. I like the way they walk. They walk differently. Yeah. They look differently. So if you want a bird that's a little different, that doesn't look like your common like chicken bird, this might be one for you.
I think they're really cool.
Now, I mean, they stand tall because birds that have those feathered legs and feet are tall. They look tall. They look tall.
Yeah. They their legs remind me more heavily feathered, but very similar to the Langshan.
And they look like they're wearing pants almost.
They kind of do. Fuzzy trousers.
They do. I mean, it's so funny because I had Francesca and Peony running around the garage during one of the times. Yeah, the Cochins. And Joe comes in and he's like, something's happening with the chickens that are in the garage. I mean, it's bad. Like their legs are completely covered with feathers. I'm like, that's supposed to be on there. There's nothing wrong. They have feathered legs. They do look quite different, but that is one of the things. Now, like I said before, they have bright white earlobes.
So we know what color egg we're getting.
This we do, and a small tufted crest above where their comb would be. Now, what does that tell us? If they have no comb area, they're going to be better in cold climates, that's
Absolutely.
for sure. So instead of a comb, they have a mostly flat space of red skin. So heat is going to be the enemy of this chicken, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't have a lot of places for it to come off.
Mm-mm.
And if you look them up, if you're in a spot where you can or later, they're very unique. They have a really different look to them.
Mhm.
Let's go through the colors they come in. They come in black,
Blue,
white,
flash,
and one of my favorites, the cuckoo.
and it's really pretty.
It is.
They're really neat.
They're just different. Now, foundation breeds are unknown, but some poultry historians believe that the French Malines could be a possibility. And they do. They are cuckooed and barred breed with feathered legs. So, yeah.
The Maline, I could see that.
I could too.
Whether they're a foundation breed or they're related somehow, something like that. I could see that. Yeah.
So they also have those really big nostrils that are found in some of the crested breeds like the Polish and the Crevecoeur.
Yeah.
And the Houdans.
And the Houdans, that's right. I mean, that's a really old feature in these European breeds.
I have more and more of them, so I'm really used to seeing them now. But when I first had, the first ones that I had that had them were the Houdans, and it was weird looking at first. I was like, what the heck?
You need some Crevecoeur.
I know. I do, to finish that whole...
Yeah, the whole set there.
Exactly. Okay, so the Breda hens reportedly lay about 3 to 4 eggs per week. Now, those earlobes are white, so we know they're going to be white. That's a respectable number. And we don't see any reports of them going broody. So,
no. I mean, I didn't find tons of people with them, but I did. Like over the past 20 years, I did find some folks who were keeping them. They pretty much all loved them, even the roos. And yeah, no one reported them going broody. The fact that they lay a white egg also, I think, goes with them being a really old breed. Just like the Polish, those really old continental birds are white egg layers.
The Polish, the Houdans, they all lay white eggs. They're all European. And, you know, if you want a chicken that's going to draw and use some attention and people are going to be like, wow, that's a show stunner, the Breda might be for you because they're also known to be very gentle, friendly, and snuggly. So there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
I saw that over and over. These birds are so sweet. These birds come in for a cuddle. These birds will sit on your lap. These birds are so gentle. That probably means you don't want to put them with mean girls.
They're going to be at the lower end of that pecking order. So you want them to be in with, like, say, the salmon faverolles, some chickens that are going to be of the same sort of
you could do a whole feather-legged crew.
You could do Cochins with them, which would be cool.
Brahmas, Langshans, you said, salmon faverolles, like all the gentle girls would work really well together.
And then you could maybe, if they all were together, you could do Houdan and Polish with them too, because they have of like chicken that way too. Yeah, there's a size difference, but
I love Skaya. You could do all those old European breeds. That would be really cool. They are big chickens, like you said. I didn't find weights for them.
No,
but they look pretty sizable. They stand tall, like you said. They were often used as a dual-purpose bird. We think they would make a really nice bird for a small family farm or homestead because they're so good with kids.
And they would need a pair of pants too.
Chicken in pants.
It would be so cute.
Wait, was that a whiskey or we talked about chicken in pants?
I think it was.
Okay. They would make a beautiful and unique addition to the chicken lady or chicken gent's flock. And like we said, remember this. This is a seriously cold hardy bird. So if you're in a northern climate, I mean, if you're one of our European listeners in a cold climate,
right?
These are perfect for you. And because of those mega feathery legs and that lack of comb, they are going to need some TLC to get through a hot spell.
I mean, even where we are, they would need probably to be brought into the AC to be watched very closely for fans. Now, the next big question is, where to find the Breda chickens? Because I'm sure now someone out there is like, I need this chicken in my flock.
If you're in Europe, check out the Dutch BDK Club, their website. They can probably put you in touch with some good breeders. In the US, you can order chicks from Sand Hill Preservation and a few other small breeding farms that pop up on a Google search. Greenfire did import them, but they are no longer offering the Breda.
We were sad to hear that.
Right, but I'm sure all the Bredas being sold are probably Greenfire lines, so you can't go wrong there.
Exactly. So here's part of the show where we say, If you have the Breda, if you're one of those really lucky people, give us a story, put it on your story, hit the mention button, then type in Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, and it gets messaged to us, and we can reshare it to our stories and share all your beautiful chickens out there.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder in 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Hey, chicken-loving friends. Know why springtime is a super special fun time? Because it's chick season, and NatureWise wants to help you start your chicks off healthy and strong. So right now, you can try NatureWise Chick Starter Grower Feed and save $10. It's all the nutrition your little babies need in one feed. Click on the link in this episode's show notes to get $10 off NatureWise today. Okay, so are you ready to move on to main topic? Yeah. Now, this week's main topic is, again, the guest is Chrisie&Holly.
Good to see you here at the table.
Yes, it's good to see you. Welcome to the table. We're going to be talking the top 5 chicken health problems so that you can be prepared for what might be hitting you down the road.
It's actually 6, but
we're sneaking an extra in there.
Yeah, so which I'm sure you'll be fine with. So we're just going to go over these. This is really helpful if you are still in the process of getting your first chickens or if you've even had them for the first year or two, because that's often the honeymoon period.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing goes wrong. After year 2, you start to see some things. So this is what we found, and we're just going to talk a little bit about these things, and maybe at some point we're going to be doing another episode updating a first aid kit, our first aid kit essentials.
Right. Because sometimes it changes and we add things, take things out. We find that we don't or we do need them. So we're going to update all that good stuff.
So we might mention as we talk to this, some of the things we'll have on hand to help treat. So
first one. Crop problems. I feel like with chickens, this is probably the number one problem. 1 and 2 or they go side and side, but
yeah, they do.
I don't know. Crop problems. If you have chickens at some point, you're going to have one. You're going to have a crop problem.
Because you can have an infection of the crop, and we know from long experience that infections are not always yeast. They can often be bacteria and sometimes both.
Right.
So you can have that happen independently. They can have blockages from eating really fibrous stuff, or you can have crop problems as a secondary issue.
Right. And that's the scariest of the crop problems.
Right.
The crop slowing down to another issue further in the digestive tract or the reproductive tract means something's blocking things and the crop will essentially not work anymore because it can't push anything else through. Mm-hmm. So when you have that, that could be a sign of something major or bigger, but that's different than a crop infection or impaction. So understanding those things are a good thing to start. And let's talk about like just a few of the things that you're going to look for if your chicken is popping up with a crop problem.
First, when they come out in the morning, there's usually visible crop. And that is a perfect time to get your hands on your hen, feel that crop. And because if you go to someone for help, the first question they're going to ask you is, what does the crop feel like?
Was the crop empty this morning?
Does it feel like there's a hard ball in there? Or does it feel like it's squishy like a water balloon, like fluidy?
And those are the things to look for with the crop itself. Now, the other thing you're going to look for is personality. Are they acting different? Are they isolating themselves from the other from the flock? And are they laying down or puffed? And are they eating and drinking? So those are things that you want to take note of also.
With crop stuff, we like to isolate the bird pretty quickly, especially if you're not experienced yet. And the reason we do that, if you can put the bird in a pop-up with food and water, you can see if they're eating and drinking, you can monitor their food intake, and you can see if they poop. Poop watch, as we call that.
We call it poop watch, and with chickens, poop watch is essential. You have to know if things are moving through. So if the crop is working, there will be poop on the other end. If the crop is not working, they will not poop, and that is a problem. So chickens should poop anywhere from like 10 to 15 times a day.
I think it's actually 12 to 15.
Something like that.
It's a lot of poop.
It's a lot of poop. So if you're seeing less or none, there is definitely a problem. And if the crop is not going down once they eat something, then you have a problem.
You can have partial blockages, and as you're more experienced, you can figure this out. If you're new and this is overwhelming, we strongly suggest you consult a vet. One of the reasons for that is because you can get crop infections under control really well if you have the right medications.
If you know what's growing, you have to know what's growing in there, what there's too much of.
Right.
So I guess we could end it with, you can send us a message and we can direct you. We can help you find a vet, or you can find a vet. It will be more cost effective to do that than playing a guessing game and using over-the-counter stuff that doesn't always work.
You can't, sometimes in some areas, people can't get antibiotics very easily anyway. And despite what you see online, at least 50% or more of the time in our experience, it's a bacterial infection, not necessarily yeast.
Okay, so let's move on to number 2.
Reproductive issues.
I always say number 1 and 2 could flip-flop, but reproductive issues, if you have chickens somewhere down the road, somebody is going to have a reproductive issue, which could be cancer of the ovitract.
That happens. It could be something mild. It could be a little bit of an infection in the oviduct that antibiotics can take care of and clear up. It could be not enough calcium, or calcium vitamin D ratios are off, so you get some soft-shelled eggs.
It could be inflammation in the oviduct, which goes along with the infection, and you get abnormal egg shapes and shells, as you said, soft-shelled eggs, or feeling like they have to go and they can't, and being egg-bound, that egg is stuck in there.
Egg binding, according to Dr. Rebecca, egg binding is often a secondary problem.
Usually. She says that all the time.
Yeah. And I feel like reproductive problems can be their own thing. Like we said, infections, cancer, but they can also be secondary too. Like heavy metal poisoning will cause thinning and abnormal eggs. Mycoplasma will cause reproductive problems.
And I don't know if anybody heard me talk about this before, but my lavender Orpington had an atopic egg in the abdomen that was going to go nowhere, that had to surgically be removed by Dr. Rebecca.
That was the weirdest thing ever.
So egg and reproductive problems are a real deal. So what are some of the things you should watch for if you think that somebody could be having an egg problem?
You're going to look for the sort of penguin stance. That's when they're trying to push and they're standing like they're trying to get that egg out. You want to look for that. Check your nest box to see if you've got somebody laying soft-shelled eggs, see if you can figure out who it is.
You're going to look for frequency, that you see the chickens going in and out, the same chicken in and out. That usually means that they're uncomfortable and they're trying and nothing's happening. So they come out, they go back in. That is a clear sign that something is going on.
With reproductive, again, it's good to have a vet nearby. Some of the things you can do to help prevent is make sure they always have calcium in the form of oyster shell available, because that's the long-acting soluble oyster shell. The calcium in their food gives them a quick shot, but it metabolizes quickly. oyster shell is a long metabolism process. It's the
Now,
best.
We're going to give you a little tip here that it's good. In your first aid kit, you should always have a bottle of Tums. And a bottle of Tums, because Tums are essentially calcium. Now, we're going to tell you right now that an eighth of the tablet, that's what you're going to give if you're seeing somebody push and nothing's happening. This is going to intensify their pushing. This is going to help them a little bit. So it's an eighth of a Tums tablet that you're going to give your chicken. So a fourth, and then again, cut it again and give that to them.
Calcium is so important. I mean,
so important.
It really is one of the things that helps them have nice, strong contractions in the oviduct to just push the eggs out.
It's much better. I have a certain bottle of Tums that is strictly for the chickens. It's much better. Please don't resort just to giving an egg back to the chickens. They're going to get more calcium from that Tums.
Right.
So have that on hand. And if you need to find a vet, sometimes reproductive issues usually need to go see a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to number 3.
So this is infections, virus and bacterial infections, which these really straddle everything from chronic respiratory disease, mycoplasma infections to avian influenza.
Respiratory problems, intestinal bacteria or viruses, believe me, they get them. You'll see a chicken that may seem off for a few days and has diarrhea. Mm-hmm. That's a virus or a bacterial infection.
Yeah, they can get. There are viruses that are just sort of little viruses that move through the way they do with humans too, that you pretty much are just going to TLC them through without ever knowing what they had. It's just like a little bug. But for the big ones, again, some of these are very treatable with antibiotics. Some of these things, I guess we should have said bacterial, viral, and I'm thinking of coccidiosis. What is that?
Oh, a parasite.
Parasite. No, parasite wasn't what I'm thinking.
It's a protozoan, but it's still a parasite.
Protozoan.
Yeah.
So, because they can really take a healthy bird and just strip them down to a bird that's not healthy and can be easy to pick up something else that will kill them.
And those are the signs that you're going to look for is separating, isolating from the flock, not eating, drinking, being puffed, and looking lethargic. Lethargy is really one of the signs. Coughing, sneezing, discharge from the eyes, those things. Now, if it's viral, you can only do TLC. You're going to do liquid, powder to liquid food, vitamins, up all those things to keep them supported throughout while it runs its course. If it's bacterial, your veterinarian will give you the proper medication to help treat it. So those are it's a big problem. All these things as chicken keepers, you're going to see. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
And really the one vaccine that's helpful is Merrick's.
Yes, definitely.
Because Merrick's essentially compromises your chicken's entire immune system. So that's the one vaccine you can get to prevent a lot of these things.
And if you go to McMurray, you can get the coccidiosis vaccine, which is really important too.
That helps too. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go to number 4 because this is a biggie also. I find it bigger in the spring and summer though, myself.
Because their feet get really soft. Although we had a lot of it last summer when we had a drought.
Yes.
But we're talking about bumblefoot and leg problems.
Yes, definitely.
So we kind of roll them together. Bumblefoot, patodermatitis, that is bacteria that has entered the bottom of the chicken's foot, usually through a microcut or abrasion, and creates a pocket of nasty.
And what you're going to look for is limping, lethargy. They still might eat. They're still going to eat maybe, but it's going to be lameness on that foot or leg and a black or dark scab on that foot area or the leg itself too.
It can be on the top of the toes. It can move around. Most commonly, it's going to be on the bottom, but yeah, we've seen it everywhere.
So the leg issues could be sprains, strains, jumping off a roost, jumping out of the coop in the morning. We've had all those things happen.
It could be
both of us.
Gout, mycoplasma, again, heavy metal poisoning. Any of those things can cause really weird issues with legs.
Now, if you have a relationship with your veterinarian, the best thing is to take them in because there's a non-steroidal medicine that can help take inflammation down. But you have to get it. It's only by prescription through your veterinarian called carprofen. And this is awesome for chickens who have something inflamed or have pain because it's used as a painkiller for small animals.
The fact that I would have given my leg for this 20 years ago. The fact that we can give them something easily for pain and inflammation. It's a game changer.
It's a game changer, and it works really, really well. Even back in the reproductive problems, if your chicken has inflammation of an oviduct, the carprofen/Rimadyl works to take that inflammation down and away, and also helps them to lay an egg that may be bigger or hurt. But again, you have to have a relationship with the veterinarian, so work along with them so that you can get the proper medications that you need. So that leads us to number 5. Or you have something else? Holly Ann wants to say something else. Sorry.
So I just wanted to go back to bumblefoot very quickly because bumblefoot, most cases of bumblefoot are very simple. You can take the scab off and clean out the inside, bandage it with vet wrap. It's going to heal pretty nicely. There is such a thing as a more complicated case of bumblefoot where it can spread. It can lead to necrotic toes. It can get in the bone. These are complicated cases of bumblefoot. And in that case, we do highly recommend you go to a professional. We also want to caution against cutting into your bird's foot with non-sterile things like X-Acto knives.
Do not do it. And we have full episodes on these things so that if you want more in-depth information, please go back. You can Google us and what you're looking for, and usually it comes up.
You can go to our Buzzsprout page where our podcast lives, and there's a search box right at the top. So, our 200 blah, blah, blah episodes. And if you want to learn about Rhode Island Reds, type it in and it'll give you the episodes that correspond.
Exactly. So we have in-depth episodes on all of these things. So if you're going through it, go back and listen to those. So let's now go to number 5, which is
injuries.
Which again, having that relationship with your veterinarian to get the proper medication to help them feel better, to get the right powder to liquid food to feed them if they're not eating. Injuries can happen while jumping off the roost, while just jumping out of the coop.
We include injuries from predators in here, and sometimes they need to be sutured.
Right.
Sometimes they need antibiotic support. I mean, Dr. Rebecca always told us if someone gets a bird with predator injuries to her, like within 48 hours, so she can, clean up, debride, stitch, get them on the right meds, there's a pretty high rate of recovery.
She said it was in the 90s, a 90 percentile, and that's really high. So having that relationship is super important. The other thing, injuries that you don't think about, always have quick stop powder in your first aid kit. They can break a nail, a beak, all these different things where somebody can attack somebody else's comb and then it bleeds and you need to stop that bleeding. They're very vascular. And so you need something to stop that bleeding. It's going to bleed a lot. Quick stop is good for injuries to always have. And Hybo Cleanse is also very good. It's a sterile cleaner that kills bacteria and yeast. Always have it on hand. Those types of things.
I'm going to put in a vote for terramycin, which is over-the-counter eye. One of my old ladies got pecked in the eye the other day, but I had terramycin right there. And with eye injuries, the faster you start treating, the better they are. And she does look great.
It's an antibiotic ointment that can help eye injuries. I've had to use it recently on Peggy. Mm-hmm. These are the things that you need in that box. That's why we're going to do the first aid kit again. Right. Okay, so our bonus thing that can happen
is vitamin and mineral deficiency. And this can happen for lots of reasons. An older hen who's not eating enough, a situation where someone on the bottom of the pecking order is being pushed away from the food. Maybe you switch feeds and the new feed doesn't have the same vitamins and minerals as the old one. There are lots of reasons why this can happen. It can also have huge consequences, including abnormal eggs, muscular problems. It's a really big spectrum of things that can be caused.
So we're huge advocates of implementing some vitamins that are really good for them throughout either water or I told somebody else by beak the other day, and I said, Holly always laughs when I say by beak instead of by mouth.
Yes.
You give it by beak. So having NutriDrench, having Strong Animal Chicken Essentials, the chicken elixir, all the things that you can add right to the water. They're going to drink all those good things up, and knowing how to administer them are really important.
You can also, this is usually used for chicks, but we've used this in a pinch for someone that really needs a boost. You can get polyvisol so that you can, if you just have one bird that needs it, give it to the mouth, give them by beak with the dropper.
I've done it. And it's usually 5 drops of the polyvisol.
Twice a day.
twice a day. And I've kind of gathered that it's up to a tenth of a cc, like 0.1. So that if you can use a TB syringe, you can just draw up 0.1 and give that. That's about the equivalent of 5 drops.
Yep.
So it makes it easier. And chickens who are just not at the top of the pecking order and not getting enough, you may notice that these things can happen. Now, there's lots of other things that can happen out there, but we just wanted to give a short list of things that you may need
These
to
are
look
the
out for.
big major things that you tend to see. I mean, we didn't do cancer.
We didn't do parasites, but they're all there.
They're all there, right? And we have episodes on all of them. So,
and you know what? Vitamin and mineral deficiency, intestinal parasites can cause that also.
exactly. It's true.
So it might be the reason why you're seeing that. So deworming, having the dewormer around is also a good idea. So there you go. A list of 5, no 6 of the biggest problems that you may see as a chicken keeper. If you have any questions or concerns, message us over on IG and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Our friends at Good Eggs solved the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier. Plus, they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you. Okay, we ready to move on to
Cracking the eggs.
cracking those eggs. Now, we're sticking with sweets for your sweetheart because it's February and Valentine's Day month.
Yeah. So this week we're doing Magic Custard Cake. This was your idea.
It was.
So when I was developing the recipe, my first attempt at this was not successful in that it didn't have the custard layer, but I know what I did wrong.
Okay.
You need to use just regular milk with regular amounts of fat. Don't use half and half or cream.
Okay.
Because it kind of almost tastes like a cheesecake. It's delicious, but it's not the custard cake.
Right. And what I was thinking of is I love egg custard pie, like a custard pie.
Yeah.
Having it, but in a different form that sometimes you don't want the pie, but you love egg custard.
Kind of the way it is. I mean, it really is delicious. It tastes really good. You just, like I said, use regular normal fat milk, not cream or half and half. I was just going to say the custard is sort of reminiscent of the custard in Boston cream pie.
Okay.
It's
That's
really
good. That's good.
It's really
okay.
good.
So let's go through the ingredients that you're going to need. A half a cup, which is 1 stick of unsalted butter or dairy-free butter, 2 cups of milk or creamy plant milk. Don't use skim or non-fat.
Yeah,
and
you
don't use too heavy or too thin.
Exactly.
Okay? 4 eggs separated into 2 large mixing bowls, a half a teaspoon of white vinegar, 1 1/4 cups of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of water, 1 cup of flour or gluten-free 1-to-1 flour, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, those aren't a lot of things, and you're going to get something delicious in the end. So that's always good.
If you line up your bowls and have everything ready to go, this is actually very quick and easy.
Yeah.
You're going to preheat your oven to 325, and you want to lightly butter or grease an 8x8-inch baking dish. Melt your butter. I just put it in a bowl in the microwave for about 35 seconds because I'm into quick and easy. Melt your butter in the microwave, set it aside to cool a bit. Warm the milk to room temperature or just lukewarm and then set that aside. Again, I put it in a glass measuring dish and put it in the microwave. You're going to add the vinegar to the egg whites and then you're going to whip them to stiff peaks. Put that bowl aside. The next bowl gets all the action. That's where your egg yolks are. You're going to add the powdered sugar and beat that together until they're light in color and really well blended.
Okay.
Then you're going to mix in the melted butter, the tablespoon of water, and beat that for about 2 minutes.
There's a lot of beating going on.
A lot of beating. This is a really beaten heavy cake. Then you're going to mix the flour in. You're going to do that until it's fully incorporated. You're going to slowly beat in the milk and vanilla until it's blended. A lot of beating. There's much beating.
The quick beat, the slow beat, everything.
Then you start folding. You're going from beating to folding. You're going to fold in those egg whites a third at a time and just keep folding until the egg whites are completely incorporated.
Right.
I don't know if my chickens are magic or not, but my egg whites went like gigantic. When I finished them. The volume was amazing. And I folded them in, and the batter was almost up to the very top
Oh, God.
of the pan because there was just so much volume in my egg whites. So I popped this baby into the oven. You bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes or until it's just barely jiggly. You want a little jiggle because it's custard.
Everybody likes a little jiggle.
But mine puffed up like a Dutch baby pancake. My girls are just working overtime on these high quality egg whites. So you take it out of the oven, let it cool completely. You even might want to pop it in the fridge because this is really good cold.
Oh, any custards are good cold.
Right.
So that's why.
You can dust some powdered sugar on the top and serve it that way. Serve it with whipped cream if you want to make it extra, extra. It's really tasty.
And make it for your sweetheart because, hey, they're going to love it. They're from the fresh eggs, make it even better. And it's Valentine's Day month. It's the love month. So do the things. Do the things. Try it. You might like it. Let us know. Send us a picture. We want to see it. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're keeping it with Valentine's Day. So we had someone who reached out to us on Instagram. They showed us that they make chicken chocolates.
Just like instead of a chocolate rabbit, it's a chocolate chicken. Chocolate
Yes. Hen on a nest, baby.
Love it. Oh, hen on a nest. Even better.
Yes.
So the name of this company is Amy's Chocolates.
Yes. And if you go over to their Instagram, she has links right to her Etsy store, right in her bio. So it's Amy's Chocolate Dog Pound. She has dogs in there too, which are so cute.
Oh, cute. I'll link it in the show notes so people can find it.
Yeah. There's a cat, there's dogs, there's chickens, there's a turkey.
Ooh.
There's little paw prints, and Holly Ann, there's a sheep.
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
sheep
okay.
And I mean, it's loaded. There's horses, but there's a nest, a plain nest.
Oh, cute.
That you could put like little chick eggs in.
Yeah.
Wait, a duck.
Oh, yeah. Is there a goose? That would be too much to ask. I'll take the
pages.
duck.
Let me see. No, but there is a duck, chicken, turkey, everything you want. And if your sweetheart loves chocolates, they're going to love the chicken on the nest or the turkey or the duck. I don't know if they'll eat them or not because Alyssa gave me chickens on a nest before and chocolates, and they're still in our studio.
I know. They're wrapped up. Yeah, I know. It would be hard to eat something so cute, but yeah.
It would be. So let me give you the exact. It's Amy's Handmade Chocolates 01460 on Instagram. That's the handle. Follow that account. Go ahead over and check out what she has. She's got so much, and the link to her Etsy is right there.
Perfect. That's fun.
So much fun. Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we had a request for the Old English game, and we are going to profile them.
Yes, we are.
Main topic, because it's our Valentine's Day episode.
Love is in the air.
The wonderful Kelly Rakowski from Poultry DVM and Adopt a Bird Network, and we are talking rooster love.
Oh, I know about this now. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, you got it now.
Little Man might make an appearance on that episode.
Oh, perfect. Cracking the eggs, we're doing a chocolate mousse cake that I will tell you is really incredible. I almost used profanity to describe it. It's so good.
Make it for your sweetie.
And we're continuing the fun into retail therapy because we're talking about baby slings for carrying your chickens around.
Because it works so well and they're awesome and you're gonna love it. So we're going to tell you where to find them. Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens
every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.